What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and we want to welcome you to the 2021 Dallas Cowboys regular season. That's right. The regular season has arrived. The preseason is in the rearview mirror. There's less than a week between now and the Dallas Cowboys kicking off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That means that the regular season has started for everybody. That means the regular season has started for us at Blogging the Boys. That means we have to figure out what's going to happen. That means we have to put some predictions out there. That's what we're here for. Today is our season prediction video here on the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. Please do subscribe here to the channel. Very excited for this season and all the content that we're going to be bringing you. So that's what today's going to be. It's going to be going through the Cowboys schedule game by game, telling you what we think is going to happen in each of them. I'm sure that you are going to agree with each and every one of our game picks. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. Let's take a look at the first 6 games of the season for the Dallas Cowboys. Once again, they start next Thursday night on NBC. It's not Sunday Night Football, but it's technically the Sunday Night Football broadcast, which is why you're going to see Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, so on and so forth. NBC obviously has a big game feel. This is a big game. The Cowboys are taking on the world champions. The last time they were in this slot was in 2012 when they visited the New York Giants, who raised their Super Bowl 46 banner. That game actually took place on a Wednesday, though, a bit of a unique particular detail there when you talk about Dallas Cowboys history. But lots of people obviously wondering what's going to happen in this game. Are the Cowboys going to be able to contend with the Bucs? Can their defense stop Tom Brady and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Rojo and playoff Lenny, regular season Lenny, Chris Gronkowski, Rob Gronkowski? Man, I threw it all the way back talking about Dallas Cowboys history. Can the Cowboys offense put up points against the Buccaneers defense? We know this is a world champion defense. They're returning, as we all have heard, for many, many, many months now, all 22 starters from Super Bowl 55, which they won in the very building that the Cowboys will be visiting them in. This game is going to have fans. It's going to feel big, and they are all going to go home upset. I have the Dallas Cowboys winning. Here's the thing. The Cowboys are a great offense. We know that. The Cowboys defense is going to be improved. This is not going to be the best version of the Buccaneers, and that's an important detail. This game will not be the prime version of either Dallas or Tampa Bay because it's week 1. It's a lot of knocking off for us. There's about a month that generally needs to happen or needs to take place for players in the NFL to get into kind of game shape. Not everybody plays in the preseason. Not everybody plays a lot in the preseason. So it does kind of take a little bit of time to dial in and calibrate. And I think the Cowboys offense will just win out. I think that they've been very, 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 very focused on this game for a very long time. And I think the Cowboys are in an advantageous spot when it comes to the Buccaneers because no other team, when they're playing the Buccaneers, will have as long as the Cowboys have had to prep for this particular team. We know that Kellen Moore did not call the offensive plays against the Jacksonville Jaguars in the preseason because the Cowboys were prepping for this game. Now, I don't mean to make a mountain out of that molehill, but it's clear and obvious that the Cowboys have been devoted to this. It's why they held Dak Prescott out as long as they did through training camp and preseason, etc. So I do think the Cowboys get the dub. That puts them at 1-0 as we look back at the first 6 games of the season. Then they will visit the Los Angeles Chargers. And there are a lot of people, myself included, who are high on LA this year, certainly year 2 of Justin Herbert. Going to see what Brandon Staley brings to that team. Obviously, another talented defense with Joey Bosa and whatnot. And that's a hard group to really see the Cowboys beating in a consecutive manner. And by that, I mean, we have not seen the Cowboys historically, and I'm talking for a long time now, play well when there are expectations around them. So I could see after a week and a half's worth of the Cowboys surprising us all, getting a win against Tampa, being kind of the talk of the NFL town, being the first team to win, be the first team to be 1-0, be the first team to be undefeated. I could see that fade sort of fizzling on a road trip to LA. And for that reason, I have the Cowboys losing to the LA Chargers. I think if the Cowboys go 1-1 in their first 2 games, I think they're so well positioned for the rest of the season. And I know it's a long year. There's 18 weeks now. There's no longer 17 weeks. There are 17 games, but there are 18 weeks. And so if they can split those first 2 games, these 2 teams, the Buccaneers and the Chargers, are 2 of the 3 more difficult games that the Cowboys are going to play in 2021. The third, obviously, being the Kansas City Chiefs. And so if they can split this, I really, really, really believe that they are in a prime position to be a playoff team, to win the NFC East, whatever else you want to add on top of that, because we talk about the best teams are going to play. It really comes down to the best quarterbacks. And let's put this back up here again. If you look at the quarterback breakdown for the Cowboys in the first 6 weeks of the season, you got Tom Brady in Tampa, you got Justin Herbert with the Chargers, you got Jalen Hurts with the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe Gardner Minshew, just kidding. You've got Sam Darnold with the Carolina Panthers and Daniel Jones. That's 3 games in a row by the way, for the Cowboys. At home, at home, and at home after these first two to start the season. And then you get Mac Jones. And so this is an important stretch coming up for the Cowboys. And I say important with regards to the totality of the season. If they are 1-1, as we're anticipating here, you have to, I believe that when it comes down to an NFL season, you have to do a few things. You have to win the games you're supposed to win. So if you look at these first 6 games, the games the Cowboys are supposed to win here, there are 3 of them. There's the Eagles game, there's the Panthers game, and there's the Giants game. Then you have to steal a couple of games, right? You have to probably steal 1 or 2 games that you're not supposed to win. The Buccaneers game's that game for the Cowboys. They're not supposed to win that game. They're not favored, obviously. They're the underdog, etc. It's the world champs, on and on and on. And then you got to kind of push when it comes to the 50-50 coin flip games. I think the Chargers game is a coin flip game because I think that's a really talented team. I also think the Patriots game is a coin flip game because that's Bill Belichick. The Cowboys obviously haven't beaten the Patriots in a very long time. It's not Tom Brady, obviously, but it is still Bill Belichick. It is still on the road. For what it's worth, Stephon Gilmore, the very talented cornerback for the New England Patriots, who has done a great job over his career at shutting down Amari Cooper, is opening the season on the physically unable to perform list, which means that he will have to miss the first 6 weeks of the season for the New England Patriots, which does include this particular game. So that does give the Cowboys some life. So I've got the Cowboys at 1-1 through the first 2 games. I don't think, based on everything I said, that it should come as a shock to you that I have the Cowboys winning against the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be a fun weekend, obviously. This game is on Monday Night Football, and this pertains to the first week of the season too. I'm just like you. I play fantasy. I'm obsessed with fantasy. We all love all of the NFL. The best days ever, the best Sundays ever are when the Cowboys have either already played, which is a Thursday game, so Thanksgiving, or in this case, the season opener case, week 1 being the first game on a totally different day, or if the Cowboys play on Sunday Night Football, or if they play on Monday Night Football. These are the best days because you have all day Sunday to watch the Red Zone channel, watch your fantasy guys, and then it's time to go to work, and then it's time to focus on the Cowboys game. And so this game's on Monday Night Football. It's the Monday after the Ryder Cup. I love golf, and so it's going to be a great weekend of watching a lot of sports. It's the home opener for the Cowboys. I'm saying that sentence again because it's going to have fans, and so this is a big deal, and I really don't see the Cowboys dropping the game at home to the Philadelphia Eagles. They beat the tar out of the Eagles at home last year once they had Andy Dalton back. So having Dak Prescott back is going to be pretty solid, I think. The last time the Cowboys played the Eagles at home with Dak Prescott at quarterback was in 2019, back on October 20th. And it was a pretty successful day for the Cowboys. They had one of their better offensive performances that Dak Prescott has led. And so I don't see how this doesn't happen. I know Jalen Hurts is coming along nicely, but still moving along, though, the Carolina Panthers game is next. We've got the Cowboys at 2-1, and I think they get to 3-1. They get to 3-1 through the first, what used to be quarter of the season, but I'm just not a believer in Sam Darnold, not a believer so far in Matt Rule in the NFL, not a believer in what's happening there. The Carolina Panthers have been one of the teams who hasn't really done a lot to address the quarterback position this offseason. So I don't see any reason why the Cowboys shouldn't have success against the Panthers. This is, again, one of those games you're supposed to win. The Eagles is in that camp, the Eagles game, but given the fact that that's a divisional game, if you wanted to upgrade that to kind of the coin flip category, I could kind of understand that argument. So this game should be an easy win for the Cowboys. So we have them, let's see here, at 3-1. Let's put the full schedule back up here. We have the Cowboys beating the Buccaneers, the Eagles, and the Panthers, and losing to the LA Chargers. And for what it's worth, I could see that, that Buccaneers Chargers prediction going either way. I really ultimately believe the Cowboys are going to be 1-1 through those first 2 games. I think they'll win their next 2 to put them at 3-1 ultimately. And beyond that, I think they will also win against the New York Giants. The New York Giants are not a team that should be taken seriously in the NFL. We do a lot of shows, or we have a lot of shows on the Blogging the Boys podcast network. Go subscribe. We are available on all major podcast platforms. I also host some show on the SB Nation NFL show, which we obviously have at SB Nation, that covers the NFL as a whole. And I've said many times over the course of the offseason that the only team in the entire NFC who I believe are worse, or are going to finish with a worse record than the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants, are the Detroit Lions. This is a bad football team, man. This is a really, really, really bad football team. I don't see them having much success at all. This is an offense that has some talent. I'm not going to deny that, obviously. I think Daniel Jones has some athleticism that is a little bit underrated. Obviously, Saquon Barkley is extremely talented. Kenny Golladay, big-time free agent signing. Sterling Shepard. Evan Ingram's never really put it together in the NFL. I think the Giants might have the best secondary in the NFC East when it's all said and done, but this is an offensive game, especially if you're playing the Cowboys. You're going to have to go shot for shot with them. Not all the time, but the Cowboys should be able to have enough offensive success against the Giants to the point that the Giants just won't be able to keep up. And that's because Jason Garrett's going to be their offensive coordinator in this game. Now, this game will come in a very, very, very spooky fashion, very closely to the game that Dak Prescott was injured in. Dak Prescott was injured at home against the New York Giants in October last year. Week 5, obviously this game is in week 5, and so it does have those unfortunate coincidences. So there will be a lot of pomp and circumstance surrounding this game, but I do think that it will be an easy win for the Cowboys. And I know what you're saying, RJ, how can you have the Cowboys going 4-1, man? This team always disappoints me. I'm not going to believe it till I see it, whatever, blah, blah. And I agree with you. I mean, it's hard to believe that in essence, right? But when you look at the paper of it all, when you look at it on paper, tell me that you don't see the Cowboys beating the Eagles, Panthers, and Giants at the very least. Those are 3 very easy wins. And again, look at the quarterbacks that the Cowboys are playing. We've talked so much about how this defense needs to be better. This defense only has to be average for the Cowboys to be good, blah, blah, blah. We've said all those things 1,000 times. Well, they're getting a huge wave of help, and this happens across the course of the season. We'll get there as we go through more games, but they're getting a huge wave of help in that they're not playing a ton of talented quarterbacks in 2021. Yes, Tom Brady. Yes, Justin Herbert. But after that, you got Jalen Hurts, who's in his second year, obviously, in the NFL. You got Sam Darnold, who's in his first year with the Carolina Panthers and hasn't been good at all so far throughout his NFL career. You got Daniel Jones, who's Daniel Jones. That says enough. And then you got Mac Jones in week 6, who, again, is a rookie, a very promising rookie. Some would say at this particular point in time as the regular season gets ready to begin, the best looking rookie of this year's first round draft picks at the quarterback position. And so, it makes sense to me that the Cowboys would be 4-1 through the first 5 games, but it also makes sense that things stabilize, that the Cowboys will find a way. I don't want to say to disappoint us, but that, there's law, there's order. What goes up must come down. There are different things that balance seasons out. And I think that Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick for a reason, which is why I have the Cowboys at 4-1, but staying with 4 wins and falling to 4-2 on the road against the New England Patriots. This is the final game before the bye for the Dallas Cowboys, so it's an important one. And if they get to the bye, and I think that's an important thing to say right now, if we agree that the Cowboys are 4-2 at the bye, however that happens, who cares, right? Like I imagine wherever you're watching this, if I'm telling you right now, and I can guarantee that the Cowboys will be 4-2 at the bye week, I think you would take that. And so if the Cowboys are 4-1 though entering this game and they lost, I think once we have our post-game show, which by the way, we will have live post-game shows after every Dallas Cowboys game here on the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel. Please do subscribe. We would be freaking out. Everything would be on fire. We'd have our pitchforks. We'd be pissed off because the Cowboys lost, and then we'd have to stew on it for 2 weeks. And ultimately, if they get to the bye at 4-2, that is a huge victory. This game's going to be hard. I know Stephon Gilmore's not going to be there. I know it's Mac Jones. I know Cam Newton's not on the team anymore, but it's still Bill Belichick. It's still New England. It's still on the road. It's still getting to the point of the year where weather becomes not a factor, but weather is a thing. And it's New England. It's going to be dark. It's probably going to be wet to some degree. So the Cowboys aren't going to win every single game. So I could see them dropping this game, falling to 4-2. Let's take a look at the next part of the schedule. I mentioned that the Cowboys are on their bye there in week 7 before they have their road trip against the Minnesota Vikings. Coincidentally, the Dallas Cowboys had their bye before their road trip against the Minnesota Vikings last year. Now, the Cowboys aren't picking up any benefit this year. Sometimes that does happen, right? An NFL team is on their bye. Then the following week, they play a team who's coming off of a game. That's not the case this year. The Cowboys and the Vikings both have their byes in week 7. So both teams will be well rested. Cowboys get to visit Minnesota. Maybe Mike McCarthy will smash some watermelons like he did last year. And because of the byes, the reason I spent some time on this is you look at the Vikings and they're in a really interesting space. And this is blogging the boys, not, blogging, or I guess it would be vlogging the Vikings. I know. They're in a really interesting space as an NFL team, and they have a rookie quarterback on their team who went to the greatest school in the world in Kellen Mond. And I could see that. This game's on Halloween, and this game's on Sunday Night Football, by the way. So it's going to be a lot of fun. That's one of those great days we talked about where you get to watch all the action on Sunday afternoon. Since it's Halloween, we get those classic fall foods. Maybe you make a pot of chili. You have, I don't know, a roast with some butternut squash. I mean, just can't believe football season's here. But because we're that late in the season, I could see the Vikings stumbling. And we know that the Vikings have a lot of issues, right? And I could see this being, because it's the first game after the bye from Minnesota, I could see them starting Kellen Mond, because that's how NFL coaches traditionally work, is if they're going to start a rookie quarterback, if it's going to be a situation where they pull the starter, in this case, Kirk Cousins, they want to give that rookie 2 weeks to prepare, right? They want to give him as much time as possible. And so even if this game is Kirk Cousins, I feel very optimistic about it from a Cowboys perspective, but especially if it's Kellen Mond. And I think that that's very, very possible. I think this could be Kellen Mond for the Dallas Cowboys in terms of who they will be facing. And so they'll be 4-2 entering this game. So I have the Cowboys getting to 5-2. And I know you're thinking, RJ, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, dude. We're not going to get to 5-2. Think about the quarterbacks. Again, the 5 wins that we have the Cowboys picking up right now, we have them splitting their first 2 games of the season. Don't get me wrong. Those are 2 very difficult games. Then the other quarterbacks, the other 4 wins are against Jalen Hurts, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, and Kellen Mond. Kirk Cousins. So we've got those are the 4, because we've got the 5th from Tom Brady or goodness gracious, Justin Herbert. So those are 4 easy wins. Again, those 4: Jalen Hurts, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, and then Kirk Cousins or Kellen Mond. And tell me that you don't think that this defense can do enough against those 4 quarterbacks, 5-ish if you count Kellen Mond, to give the Cowboys offense enough of a chance to win the game. I mean, I don't see how that's possible. So I have the Cowboys getting to 5-2. All right, so the Cowboys are 5-2. We've now entered the month of November. Breathe, everybody, breathe, because if the Cowboys are 5-2 entering November, life's going to feel pretty good. We're going to start putting on our plaid and, seeing all the leaves changing and falling and everything. And the air is going to be crisp on our face. It's going to be awesome. 5-2 against the Denver Broncos. Currently, at season's beginning, the Broncos starting quarterback is Teddy Bridgewater. This seems like a situation that's going to be a little bit in flux throughout the season. I could see Denver, 1 week, I don't mean anytime soon, but after a month, maybe deciding, let's start Drew Lock, start him for a couple of games. He doesn't pan out. They go back to Teddy. This just kind of has that feel. So I don't know exactly who the Cowboys are going to draw here, but whether it's Teddy Bridgewater, whether it's Drew Lock, Denver has an interesting team. Obviously, they've been, regarded as a team that's kind of a quarterback away. That's why all the Aaron Rodgers rumors made a little bit of sense over the offseason. Obviously, the Denver Broncos have Patrick Surtain, so this is his first visit to AT&T Stadium in the NFL, although obviously not as a member of the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think that they have the firepower. I really don't. I don't think that Denver has enough to do this. I don't think that Denver can beat the Cowboys offense. And so I know that the Cowboys are 5-2. I know this is going to freak you out. I have them getting to 6-2. I have the Cowboys getting to 6-2 with a win against the Denver Broncos because of the quarterbacks. That's if you're going to come away with one idea after this video, come away with the idea that you should feel confidence in this Dallas Cowboys season because of the opposing quarterbacks that they're going to play. There's a lot of talented quarterbacks in the NFL this year, but the way the Cowboys schedule worked out this year, they're not playing a lot of them. That's just kind of the simple truth of it all. So they're 6-2 at this particular point in time. And then guess what? Dan Quinn gets his shot at revenge. On November 14th, the Dallas Cowboys will play the Atlanta Falcons at home, AT&T Stadium. Dan Quinn, he's gonna have a huge, set of questions, in his press conference that week. It's gonna be a big old deal. It's gonna be a big talk with Dan Quinn. Your defense, you guys are playing so well. You're 6-2. You've come in. You've really turned this team around. Micah Parsons is leading the league in sacks and interceptions and forced fumbles. What's going on here, Dan Quinn? What's the secret formula? And he's gonna say, we're working really hard, etc. Blah blah. And then the Cowboys are gonna lose because Matt Ryan is a good quarterback. And that's not the only reason here, but it's just the natural kind of order of the NFL. Things will stabilize at a certain point. The Cowboys are not going to win every single game. Atlanta does have a talented offense on paper, like we've talked about, right? Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, now Kyle Pitts, the rookie. We had a lot of fun Kyle Pitts conversations over the course of the offseason. The Atlanta Falcons should have won last year when the Cowboys played them and Dan Quinn. So I have them falling to 6-3. And this will happen too, because if the Cowboys are 6-2 entering this game against Atlanta, and if they fall to 6-3, people will start to feel like the sky is falling because they will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs the following week. So they'll say, oh my gosh, now we're going to drop to 6-4. Everything sucks. Everything's terrible. And you know what? They are. Cowboys are going to drop to 6-4 because the Chiefs are amazing. The Kansas City Chiefs are amazing. I know you're probably thinking, man, I can see the Cowboys beating the Chiefs. Maybe they do. I mean, this is one of those games that we talked about at the beginning of this, though, that you have to steal. there are games that you're supposed to win. That's one box of games on your NFL schedule. There's another box of games that we talked about that's coin flips. They're 50-50 games. You got to split those or hopefully pick up as many as you can. And then there's a box of games that you're supposed to lose. There's a box of games that we are allotting that you are going to lose 100%. You're going to lose those 10 out of 10 times, or rather 9 out of 10 times. So you need to pull off the 1 out of 10 time and get that win and surprise and shock us all. And if you do, that's the difference between being 10-6 and 12-4, obviously in older times before there were 17 games in the regular season. But I have the Cowboys falling to 6-4, and that's okay. If the Cowboys are 6-4 entering Thanksgiving, we're fine. We're Gucci. We're happy. Everything is swell because, again, the quarterbacks, pay attention to this. This is the common theme throughout this whole discussion, this whole exercise here. And our prediction right now is Derek Carr is coming to town. John Gruden, this is the first time that the Dallas Cowboys, by the way, will get to play against the Raiders, not Oakland anymore, obviously Las Vegas now for over a year with Amari Cooper on their team. So that will be all about revenge to him because it's Thanksgiving. It'll be a big thing. It will be a huge thing because it's on CBS. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wilson be talking about how the Cowboys traded this. I can guarantee you this right now. I can promise you right now that there will be a graphic as the CBS, whatever camera it's called, the like spider camera that comes in from the sky, you know what I'm talking about, as that pans in and we see all the field on Thanksgiving and all the fans and everybody in the special CBS graphics with the Thanksgiving lacings and stuff. There will be a graphic that shows what the Cowboys gave up for Amari Cooper and what Amari Cooper has done. And then, Jim Nantz will be like, well, Tony, I'd say it was worth the trade, wouldn't you? And Tony would be like, Jim, I'll tell you what, it's a great trade for the Cowboys. Amari Cooper, he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And then they'll throw it to Tracy Wilson. She'll talk to Mike McCarthy. He'll say, I know we're 6-4, but we're going to go out and we're going to get to 7-4. That's exactly what the Cowboys are going to do. They're going to get this win. They're going to get to 7-4. This is an important time of the year because after Thanksgiving, the Cowboys play 7 days later. Remember, they play on Thursday Night Football the following week against the New Orleans Saints 7 days later. So the Cowboys play on back-to-back Thursday. So we're counting them being at 7-4 at this point in time. Now, if you have followed me before, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at RJ Ochoa. If you've watched any of our videos, if you've listened to any of our podcasts, if you've read anything I've ever written at bloggingtheboys.com over the course of the last few months, then you know that I believe it's very possible that the Dallas Cowboys do not lose a game from Thanksgiving on, okay? Because look at the quarterbacks. They're 7-4 at this point in time. Jameis Winston. And who knows? I mean, that one's hard to predict. I mean, who knows if Taysom Hill's starting at this point in time for New Orleans or not, whatever. But you've got Jameis Winston, then you've got Ryan Fitzpatrick twice in 3 weeks. 2 times in 3 weeks you get to play Ryan Fitzpatrick. Sandwiched in between there, you get Daniel Jones once more. Kyler Murray there in week 17, who there will be some revenge going into that game. We'll get there in a minute. And then Jalen Hurts, maybe Gardner Minshew, maybe Joe Flacco to wrap up the season. And so you're 7-4 at this point in time. There's now 17 games in the NFL season. We believe you got to get to 10, 11-ish wins, right? You got to probably have about 11 wins to be a playoff team, safely to be a playoff team, kind of like the old school 10 wins. So you've got to win 4 of these final 6 games to get to 11 wins, all right? You're coming off a win on Thanksgiving Day against the Las Vegas Raiders. Amari Cooper went for 200 yards. It's his third 200-yard game as a member of the Dallas Cowboys. He's the only player in Dallas Cowboys history to have 200 yards 3 different times. He's actually currently, this is a real thing, not sarcasm anymore, he's the only player in Dallas Cowboys franchise history to have 2 games with 200 yards receiving. So congratulations to Amari Cooper. And I know I just gassed him up, but I have the Cowboys losing. I have the Cowboys losing in New Orleans because I just think that, again, this is a rough time of year. It's so hard. It's this particular stretch because this has been a slot the Cowboys have played in for most years out of the last 6 or 7 years, so to speak. They have gone from a Sunday, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, to playing on Thanksgiving. So you go Sunday to Thursday, and then the NFL generally has them playing the Thursday after. So we have them losing the first Sunday to the Kansas City Chiefs. We have them winning the next on Thanksgiving Day, against the Las Vegas Raiders. And then the next Thursday, that's a tight little packed in stretch of time to play 3 football games. It's difficult. It's hard. It's a battle of attrition. And so I think the Cowboys lose this game. They fall to 7-5, but that's okay. That's okay. No need to panic. The Cowboys are 7-5. Now they get a little mini bye because they come off that Thursday night game. Pay attention to that date. That's Thursday, December 2nd. Their next game not until Sunday, December 12th. That's 10 days to rest, to prepare, to relax, to get right before the important stretch, because the Cowboys are 7-5 at this point in time, and they're entering the most important stretch of their season. And I know you're saying, how can you say this, RJ? They played the Bucs earlier in the year. They played the Chargers. They've lost to the Falcons. They just played the Saints and the Raiders and the Chiefs and blah, blah. I don't care what happens, because this is the most important stretch, because the next 5 games, 4 of them are within the NFC East. That makes this the most important stretch of the season by far. And actually, if you're an older Dallas Cowboys fan, this is like vintage NFC East run because the Cardinals are in there too. So this is kind of a classic NFC East finish of the season for the Cowboys. But the thing I want to say about Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Washington football team before I predict this game for you is a lot of people have said that they think the Cowboys and Washington are going to split their series this year. Obviously, Washington's team is very talented from a defensive standpoint. They swept the Cowboys last year for the first time since 2012, although the games against Washington were definitely unique for the Cowboys, to say the least, in 2020. I'm going to tell you right now, and I've said this many times before, but I want it on the record. Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to have an awesome moment. We are now in September. If you look at your calendar, you pull out your phone, you watch whatever, we are firmly in the month of September. There is going to be a moment this month where Ryan Fitzpatrick does something awesome. It's going to be a meme. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be on Twitter. It's going to be on Reddit. It's going to be on TikTok. It's going to be all over the place. It's going to be an amazing Ryan Fitzpatrick moment. That will fade. Ryan Fitzpatrick has never taken a team to the playoffs in 16 years. Never, ever. Not a single time. And yet all these people, all these national people are like, they got Ryan Fitzpatrick. So what? And here's the thing. Ryan Fitzpatrick, again, Fitzmagic comes early. He's part of the fall. Fitzpatrick comes when you decorate your house for the fall. It's not even actually fall. Like my house, we're already decorating for fall. It's still hot outside. But that's just, hey, that's not my job at my house. But anyway, when it's December, when it's cold outside, all right, when it's really, really, really cold outside, that's not when Ryan Fitzpatrick plays well. That's never been who Ryan Fitzpatrick is. I know he had the moment last year with Miami where he had the face pull throw that was super awesome against the Raiders, but that's it. This is not when he's known to be good. And so the fact that the Cowboys get him then twice in 3 weeks, I hate the fact that they're playing twice in 3 weeks, by the way, but this is advantageous for the Cowboys. So they're 7-5, and I have them getting to 8-5. I don't think that that's a surprise to you because I just kind of trashed Washington. So 8-5 for the Dallas Cowboys, and then you have an important game because all these games, by the way, are on the road. While they seem easy when you look at opponents, it's difficult because the Cowboys are going to be on the road in New Orleans on the Thursday after Thanksgiving, and then they do get the 10 days, but they go to Washington, and they come back, and they got to go back to New York. So if you care about the cold weatherness, I know we already talked about it being cold. It's going to be really cold for 2 games in a row for the Dallas Cowboys before it's nothing but nice and optimum temperatures inside of the warm AT&T Stadium that the Dallas Cowboys call home. So the Cowboys are 8-5 after their win in Washington. Hello, Daniel Jones. 9-5. 9-5. The Dallas Cowboys. 9-5. Feels good. Feels really good, doesn't it? 9-5. Shout out to Daniel Jones. For hooking us up with a 9-5 record at this point in time. The Cowboys beat the Giants. The Giants are so boring. They lack juice. I can see the Cowboys losing a game to Washington. I can see the Cowboys losing a game to Philly. If I was Doctor Strange and I saw 1,000 or whatever it was different permutations of the season, not a single one of them can see the Cowboys losing once to the Giants. They're that juiceless. So 9-5, the Dallas Cowboys after their game against the New York Giants, and they get 3 home games in a row. All right. And at this point in time, we have the Cowboys coming off consecutive wins, right? They've gone from 7-5 to 9-5. They've won back-to-back games. They've won back-to-back games in the NFC East. They've won back-to-back games in the NFC East on the road. People are talking about it. Everybody's high. Everybody's loving it. Everybody's into it. Everybody's pumped. And then guess what happens? The bottom comes out a little bit. You lose because you're not going to win every game in the NFL. You're not. And I don't believe in Ryan Fitzpatrick, but I could see the Cowboys splitting this series with Washington just because that's so much action packed in super, super, super tight right there, especially coming off those back-to-back-to-back road trips against New Orleans, Washington, and New York. And I think sometimes we see teams focus on a little stretch, right? They focus on getting through whether it's a 4-game stretch or a 5-game stretch, and then they have a game where they just kind of drop a dud. And I think an example of that is if you think back to 2018, the Cowboys had an incredible stretch where they went to Atlanta, they beat the Falcons. They went to Philadelphia, they beat the Eagles. They came home, they beat Washington on Thanksgiving. That was the Colt McCoy game. That was one of Amari Cooper's 200-yard games. They hosted New Orleans the following Thursday on Thursday Night Football. That's when they beat the Saints and shocked the world. Then they hosted Philadelphia, and that was the overtime game, the Amari crazy touchdown at the end, blah, blah, blah. That was a 5-game stretch in a row that the Cowboys just kind of bunkered down and really, really, really surprised a lot of people. And then they went to Indianapolis the next week and lost 23-0. I mean, it was flat. It was a flat performance from them. And I think that that's what this kind of is for me. That's how it kind of, sits in my mind. I could see after that stretch of New Orleans and Washington and New York just kind of coming home and just, the natural causes of an NFL season taking their toll. So the Cowboys are 9-6 now through week 16. That's 15 games total. They have 2 games left. I know the math of all of this feels awkward, feels weird because we're so used to 17 games in a regular, or 17 weeks and 16 games in a regular season. So the Cowboys are 9-6 with 2 games left. I mentioned that we would get to Kyler Murray. In case you forgot, Kyler Murray this offseason had some not kind words to say about the Dallas Cowboys. He was asked if he grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan. Obviously, he's from the area. He said, no, this is a family show, so I won't tell you what Kyler Murray said, but he said they were always trash growing up. He did not say the word trash. So there will be a lot of revisiting of that quote when this game comes around. And I could see the Cowboys after that little dud that we talked about, kind of battening down the hatches and saying, okay, we gotta, stop the skid. We got to get back on track. We got to finish strong. We got 2 games left in the regular season. Get the win, get to double digits. You're now 10-6, a classic record. The last time the Cowboys were a playoff team, they had a 10-6 record. And I think at this point in time, I think that this clinches the NFC East, because I think the division is so bad that I think even this one win with a week left in the regular season would clinch the NFC East. Obviously, the seeding position in the conference would still kind of ultimately need to play itself out. But I think the Cowboys get to 10-6 with a win against the Cardinals and are feeling really comfortable before that final January 9th game on the road in Philadelphia. Maybe it takes some pressure off of that game. And by that point in time, the Eagles are angling for a top 5 pick in the NFL draft, and the Cowboys get the win. Tell me you don't agree. Tell me I said anything that is ridiculous right here. I mean, tell me I said something that that is impossible. Here is the full schedule. The Dallas Cowboys go 11-6 on the 2021 season. The official 100% accurate prediction here at Block of the Boys. We're going in order here. Win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Loss against the LA Chargers, although just one on record, I could see that going either way. But they're emerging from those 2 games with at least 1 win. 3 wins in a row against Philly, Carolina, and New York, then losing on the road against New England. The Mac attack is back. The bye in week 7, getting the win against Minnesota and Denver at home, then losing back-to-back games. Only one stretch of time where the Cowboys lose multiple games in a row, by the way, to Atlanta and then Kansas City on the road. It's tough to win at Arrowhead. And then on Thanksgiving, Cowboys winning against the Raiders. And I'm telling you, after that loss against the Saints, because you can see it now a little bit more graphically, that's the Thursday after Thanksgiving, that will be 3 losses in 4 weeks for the Cowboys. And so people will be freaking out. And then they come back and they finish strong, winning 4 out of their final 5 against Washington, against New York, dropping the other one against Washington. That's okay. Winning against Arizona, winning against Philadelphia, probably good enough for the 4 seed at the very least, obviously, as a division champion, maybe the 3 seed, who knows? And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it one more time because I want this on the record. I've said it on the record several times. I really want this on the record. It feels right this season because, let's be honest, let's have a chat. Let's take all the graphics off. There's one person who has tormented our lives as Dallas Cowboys fans, right? In recent history, right? There's a handful over all of time. But in terms of recent history, it's Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers quarterback. Okay. Now we know we all put up with all the storylines. We watched every single episode of Jeopardy. We dealt with it all off season long. We know that Aaron Rodgers wants out of there, right? It is heavily speculated that this could be Aaron Rodgers' last season in Green Bay. We know that Aaron Rodgers has an ability to break our hearts as Cowboys fans, to do it at AT&T Stadium. And so what would be a more poetic end to that story? And separate the fact that we're Cowboys fans here from this, all right? Like, just looking at this from like a drama perspective, right? Like if I'm selling you a Hollywood script right now, what would be a better ending, a more poetic ending than the Cowboys visiting the Green Bay Packers in the divisional round of the playoffs, the same round that Dez caught it in, and the same round that ridiculous Jared Cook catch happened in? What would be more poetic than the Dallas Cowboys visiting Lambeau Field and Aaron Rodgers losing his final game as a Green Bay Packer at Lambeau Field in a super cold day with Ice Bowl throwback feels, to the Dallas Cowboys, the team he has tormented for a majority of his professional career, led by the head coach who he ousted out of Green Bay, and Mike McCarthy? If you didn't get chills, I mean, like, seriously, I mean, like, call Netflix, call Disney Plus, call Hulu, call Amazon Prime, call whatever. Like, we can make this happen, all right? And it's going to happen. It's going to happen this year throughout the 2021 Dallas Cowboys season, where they're going to go 11-6. We can't wait to see it. I say this all the time, and I want to say this one more time. This is the thing that I actually care about being on the record. The fact that we get to do this, we get to talk about the Dallas Cowboys with you, is something we take enormous pride in. This is something that we all love. This is the time of year that we all love. This is the time of year that we all look forward to the most. And we realize it's important to you. We realize the Cowboys play a special part in your life for whatever reason that you became a Dallas Cowboys fan. We all have those stories, and we've all come together somehow, somewhere. We found ourselves here to experience this together, to experience a thing that we love to experience, and we've chosen to spend it together. And we're so grateful. We're so honored. We're so blessed that you've chosen to spend it with us. And we take that seriously, and we promise to give you the best content that we can all season long as the Dallas Cowboys march to an NFC East title and to ending Aaron Rodgers' career as a Green Bay Packer. And we're excited for the ride. So if you haven't yet, please do subscribe here to the Blog and the Boys YouTube channel. We have a lot of fun stuff planned. We will have live post-game shows. We will have live streams every Tuesday. We'll have highlights the day after the game. Please subscribe to the Blog and the Boys podcast network if you'd like conversations about the Cowboys. We have a new episode that comes out every single day. We have multiple episodes on a few different days because we know that things are always happening in the world of the Dallas Cowboys, and we want to make sure that you're taken care of. Please visit bloggingtheboys.com. You're home for the best Dallas Cowboys coverage on the internet. We have just a ton of articles that go out every single day to, again, keep you updated on your favorite team in the whole world. You can follow us on Twitter at bloggingtheboys. You can follow us on Instagram at blogging.the.boys. You can obviously like us on Facebook. I'm RJ Ochoa. You know me, of course, from Blogging the Boys. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at RJ Ochoa. And hey, we did it. We made it. It's football season, and I'm so excited. We've got a lot of fun stuff ready to roll since it's week one. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's get this dub. I thought that would sound cooler. When I thought of it in my head, I thought that would sound a lot cooler after that whole little spiel. But hey, hopefully it sounded cool enough. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Can't wait to see you again. Can't wait to talk about the Cowboys-Buccaneers matchup because it's finally here. Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you next time.